Okay, so for the past 2 weeks, I've been feeling a lot less disciplined, and my self-control, my level of self-control has been at an all-time low. Basically what I've been doing a lot, I've been like rewatching a lot of shows that I've watched before, like Warrior, and I just recently finished rewatching Invincible. Great shows, but I normally don't do that on weekdays, and I have been doing that for the past 2 weeks. And the reason I feel like I've lost a lot of self-control in the past 2 weeks and I've not been as disciplined is primarily because of, one, the lack of sleep, and two, the amount of stress that I'm putting myself through. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Firstly, about 2 weeks ago, since I'm mentioning this in the time frame of 2 weeks, on the weekend of Halloween, I spent my time in Vegas with my friends there, and we went to clubs. So what happened was I slept at like 4 a.m. both days, went back home, and then had to do work stuff afterwards. And that was like a big loss of sleep. And then in the same week, I worked a sound job. Basically, I held like a boom. I was the boom operator for sound of the short film. It's called Station 4, and it'll eventually come out, so check that out if you guys are interested. But basically, it was a night shoot. The first shoot there was 2 days or 2 nights. The first night was just from like 9 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. And then the second night was from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. So that was like really hard to do. Driving back was definitely tough. I'm glad I made it back safely. But I highlight those two things, or those two events, because I feel like they were the prime reasons I felt the way I did the things I did in terms of not being as disciplined and not having as much self-control. That is sort of like, let's break that down, I guess. So how to not be as disciplined. Basically, number one, lose a lot of sleep is like a really big thing, I feel. And number two, this week was actually what I made a Skillshare class. It wasn't all of this week, but the video shooting and editing was all of this week for my Skillshare class. Pretty short class overall. It adds up to being around like 25 minutes. But of course, recording time and editing, all that is like, that took up a lot of hours. At least, the total project took up at least 30 to 40 hours. And it's a lot of, and on top of that, like I still work a job. So it's like, it's not like it's the only thing I'm doing. So because of the past week of me working on Skillshare, I felt really, really stressed out, mainly because like there's a deadline. So there's a thing for Skillshare if you teach on Skillshare. It's called Teacher Core. It's like a group of teachers that support each other in like Slack and whatnot, and it's pretty cool. But I was about to be kicked out because I didn't upload a class for a very long time. You have to upload a class every 6 months, and the last time I've uploaded a class was about 6 months ago now. So November 13th was the deadline, and I barely finished it 2 days before that. I actually uploaded it today and published it today. So that's why I'm making this video, sort of like I'm finally done. I can actually talk about the past 2 weeks and reflect, because that's what I've been wanting to do for YouTube, just for my personal channel, just for fun. And I haven't had the chance to do that because of all the stuff I've been up to. So I'm glad I get to do this. But basically, I was in a lot of, like, during the thing, I wasn't sure if I could finish on time. So I felt a lot of stress. And that caused me to, ironically, not want to do as much work and actually like watch anime or something like that. So that's another way to not be disciplined, is to put yourself through a lot of stress. For me, honestly, I could have paced myself more. I should have paced myself more and made things easier for myself by not waiting until the last minute, because I had a full 6 months really to do it. So that definitely was my bad. So those are two things to add. Put yourself in a high stress situation, or procrastinate, which results in putting yourself in a high stress situation. But yeah, those are basically all the things that I've been experiencing for the past 2 weeks. And obviously, if you want to be more disciplined, try to avoid those things. But sometimes, like for me, at least for the Vegas thing and the night shoots, those were kind of unavoidable because those are events that I said yes to, and like it's like an obligation at that point. Although of course it was fun doing it for sure. So trade-offs basically. And that was basically it. I do want to make this a series of videos, like a weekly thing, and I wanted to, and for these videos I want to highlight like, firstly, like the biggest lesson that I've learned in the past week. Obviously for this is my first one in a while, I guess. So I included the previous week as well. So that's one thing I want to do. And then the second thing was also highlight like my biggest accomplishment, or the biggest, like, highlight my best progress made for like a project basically. And I finally uploaded that Skillshare class, which is about writing scripts for video. This video is completely unscripted, I'm sure you can tell. But for most of my other videos on my main channel called Dreamlit, almost all of those videos are scripted. And those videos have gotten like a fair amount of views. Some of my scripted videos on that channel have gotten like over 100,000 views. So that's like, and I've scripted like so many videos at this point. It's like over, I don't know, probably over 100 at this point. So I felt like I just wanted to share my knowledge for scripting. It's not like I'm a super expert at it, but it's definitely something I've done for a while, and I don't mind like just creating a small class, sharing my method, my personal method. So that was my biggest accomplishment for this past week. I'm definitely glad I could finish it on time and sort of now go back to having a schedule that's like normal. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And if you are watching and you watched to the end of this video, thank you first of all. But feel free to share your sort of like weekly progress as well, or some like the best lesson you learned from this week basically. All right, let's hope that I can do this again next week. This video will not really be edited too much because I want to get it out fast. It's probably going to be the same thing for the next videos as well, but I'm going to see, because after doing this scripting class, I'm like motivated to try to do some scripted videos on this channel as well. So let's see how that goes. All right, for now, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.